Well, we'll get into futures and whatnot, but today was a weird day. Not that we couldn't, not that we couldn't uh, chart it. We did chart everything, but uh, I wasn't present mentally. I wasn't with the rally in the morning time. I took a small position on Costco, but got stopped out very quick, but didn't quite make the most of that rally in the morning. But Biden pump, I did take full advantage of that. So we'll get into that in a bit. So here is something that this one. So this was the index that did everything that we were looking for it to do, and then some. Uh, we were looking for about 250 points or something in the charting session this morning, and this was a number we were looking for it to achieve to the downside. It hit that number to a T right about here. This number 13 to 80, whatever this was, it hit that and started to push back up, and it went all the way into its 8 and then some. So I was expecting it to push right here into this number for about 250 points or something, and we got some more out of it. So well, good for us. So Nasdaq was obviously the star of the show today. Ironic, yeah, but it is what it is. With 10-year being close to three and Nasdaq rallying 2 points, better than 2 points, in fact. So, uh, well, go figure. But per charting, that move was sitting there. Per charting, that move was sitting right there, all the way from here to here. This was the range that we were looking to get, and we got that range today. And SPX side of things, the base case was for us to hit right about here, I think 44.27 or something, and then a push into 8, and then this was later on. We were looking for 44.71, I guess. Just trying to figure out where did I get that number from. Now, right here, this is where I got that number from, 44.71, right about here, 44.71. So we hit that number to a T. This is where I exited my long trades from the Biden pump, and it hit that number and pushed right back down. And it pushed really hard. Let's look at SPY. It pushed back down really hard. It gave up almost all the gains that that it uh, got today. Wish we could have pushed down farther. No, it did not give up all the gains. It started somewhere around here. Well, we still ended up positive, but 45. What am I talking about? Just gave up $3. Okay, okay. Right. Off of this number. So I was short Qs, three triple Qs, and maybe that's the reason I was mixing up things. Okay, because triple Qs moves three times, right? So this move, I misconstrued this move for the larger move in the Qs and SPY as well. So this move down in SPY, probably about 3 points move or 2.5 points move. On the SPXL side of things, that's about 3x of that. So that's why I misconstrued that with SPY. Uh, yeah. So essentially, right in this move coming back down, I made a 3x of what SPY did here to the downside, and exited right at the bottom for this one as well as Facebook. And the Facebook was a good trade. It did not give up everything. I was expecting Facebook to at least come down into this number, 213 or something. Tomorrow we will continue to look for this number to push in. But I exited somewhere around little around here, 2180, 21480, somewhere around here. I exited that trade. Uh, I wasn't looking at the chart, but I had this reference point, 215 something. I remembered this point, 215 something, and if it broke below, I would want it to exit. So it broke below that number. I exited my trade. Uh, I think tomorrow it will push into 213, and probably it will push below that tomorrow. Yeah, it should push below that. So let's see. This thing is still intact to hit 207. I was kind of expecting with that big move in Netflix, close to 90 points. I was expecting this to actually crash back into this 206 number. It didn't happen. Facebook was getting bought around that 204.50 area. So I'll still wait for this to come back down, to short, maybe another entry to the long side. If it comes back down, we can catch this trend here again to the long side. This would be an interesting one tomorrow. Tesla. Uh, Not a whole lot of activity around it. I've sold some puts. I've sold some calls. I did not actually feel the need to grab calls or puts at this moment. Probably tomorrow I will. I just wanted to capture that premium today. By tomorrow, I think the premium will go down a little bit. So I did not want to lose on that. So I sold some calls and puts. So I'll see what happens tomorrow, and then a safer bet would be to buy puts, I suppose. But per technicals, there is, if there was not an earnings play per technicals, there is still room to the upside for Tesla. It is bouncing off of a nice 100 moving average here. Probably it will push into its mean. It had to do it today, but it did not. It was not able to. This was very strange, by the way. Uh, it couldn't push into its mean. It had to push it, but it couldn't. That was very strange to me. That stood out to me. So tomorrow base case is 1042 for Tesla. If it clears there, we'll look for a push into 1060 tomorrow again. But it fails there, and probably it will need to come back down to test this 120 area, 115 to 120 area again. But Tesla being Tesla, and on earnings day, well, anything could happen. Uh, but my understanding would be Tesla would stay within this range around the mean to the lower Bollinger Band and within the upper Bollinger Band. This is the range that Tesla will play in tomorrow, uh, pre-earnings and after earnings. God knows, right? It might come back down to 973, peers that, and push into 930. That would be an ideal path for Tesla to take and push into 930, 935. That would be ideal. But as a Tesla being Tesla, 1086 is also very much possible. These days, seems like 20% is a nothing burger. 20% moves. You know, in companies like Facebook, Netflix, 20% moves are happening on earnings. That is insane, insane. You know, 40 billion got wiped out on Netflix earnings report. 40 billion with a B. And same was the case with this on Facebook previous earnings. Quarter of the company got wiped out. So yeah, that was play money, by the way. Those valuations were never justified. So that was kind of play money. That was kind of hype. That was kind of that whole COVID bounce sort of a thing. Now I think majority of the companies are coming back to ground, coming back to the reality. and none better than this example. So what's going to happen to Netflix later? And let's see. This is about around 258 or something. All right, let's go plot that. 258. Right around right, right around here. Okay, fair enough. It hadn't hit this number yet. So tomorrow I think it should. What the heck? Tomorrow I think it should hit around this number, and I think after this number should be an ephemeral bounce, some sort of an ephemeral bounce. Then we're looking to push into. Oh, it pierced this number. Wow, it fucking pierced this number. I think it will have to come back into this number at some point in time. Right now it's sitting. So here it should take a breather. Most likely it should give us another good 10 to 15 points to the upside. That's what my expectation is from Netflix. Uh, yeah, it should give a good, take a good breather around 246, 245, and then I think it will push into this 260 number. Same thing what happened here with the earnings. It came right back out. There's that daily chart, right? Same thing what happened here. Came back down and pushed up. I'm expecting the same thing to happen again, but not to this degree. But certainly this thing will happen. So wait for that, push down, and we'll capture that a little later. Let's see where were the yeah here. This is what I'm talking about. Last earnings, previous earnings. 350 something came back down, pushed right up into this number, 458. So this was a good 100 points to the upside. I don't believe you're going to get 100 points this time around, but definitely a breather right around this number, 1045 or something like that, 1045, 1046, and it will push into this number, 264. Slow grind, yes, but will happen. Uh, but again, a little. I think this is the path to the downside for Netflix around 141. One bad number from any other tech major, then this will get into the spiral. Earnings are bad, but not as bad the numbers are suggesting. That to me is an exaggeration of what is happening. Uh, I mean, in the first place, it should never have been a $700 stock. It should never. But institutions are buying. If institutions are buying, then you can't do much about it. But this is where it should make a base, 245 tomorrow. Let's look for that, and let's look for if you're passive, you can go ahead and sell some puts around here and capture that premium. And if you're active, look for this number, and it will push up into 265 somewhere on that. So good 20 points to the upside. Facebook, we talked about it. This thing, I'm still watching Bitcoin for whatever reason today. For whatever reason, okay, not for whatever reason, for good reason. Okay, might make sense. So it did hit this number, right? We were looking for a push above this 100 moving average on the daily. It pushed above that and went right here and took a breather. So what does that mean? That is simply meaning that again, it is stalling right around here. It's unable to move into this inner Bollinger Band. Should it move into this inner Bollinger Band, there's a very good chance that it's going to go hit this mean right here. There's a very good chance. 42.6. Yesterday the mean was here around 42.6. Now the mean is here around 42.5. So I think the more delay it does into pushing into its lower inner Bollinger Band, the mean will keep coming down. I'm still watching Bitcoin. I'm still watching this MACD to turn. So, it brings in more buyers, or at least technical buyers. So let's see how that plays out. And this is the one that is at 2.98. This number will keep pushing higher. This number 2.98, or whatever this is, this will keep pushing higher. May rate hike, I think we'll get about 50 bips, and maybe even I don't know what's the outlook look like for June or July, but for May, I believe 50 bips is pretty much inevitable right now. So this thing will keep pushing. And this has to keep pushing in order for U.S. economy to avoid a theoretical recession. Practical recession, I don't know. Maybe we are in one of those practical recessions, but a theoretical recession, this to avoid a theoretical recession. What I mean by theoretical recession, 2/10 yield curve inversion. So if you want to avoid that, if the Fed wants to avoid that, this needs to keep pushing higher. This should not go below 2 year. So let's see US Y. It's not 2 year. Forget what is it. Futures. I forget what is that. ZT. I'm forgetting what is a 2 year note number. What's it ticker for that? I'm forgetting that. But keep an eye on that. Should not invert. If it inverts, that means a theoretical recession is here. So let's do 0.35. It's not US2Y. It's not showing up. Let's see. But anyways, look for that ticker. When you find that ticker, compare that ticker to US10Y. And the other thing that I'm watching is this TLT. So TLT is kind of getting there for it is getting oversold, and I believe majority of the market participants are watching TLT. Whoever wants to play the bond ETFs, they are watching TLT, and this is where it should bottom out 16116. I'm watching this number as well. Most likely, I'll play TLT. Most likely, I'll get involved around here. I should be shorting it, but right now, but again, this is not something that is high beta, because stocks are low beta. Sorry, not stocks. Bonds are low beta uh, trades. So this is a low beta trade, very slow, very nice trade. You want to short it, I think it will inevitably go down to this number 116 or something, and it doesn't move a lot in a day. It's not volatile as other stocks. This is a bond ETF, so you could look to trade. If you are someone if you're someone who's particularly doesn't like high beta names, this is the one that you can trade. TLT. I am watching this every day, waiting for this to hit around this number, 200 moving average, for it to start pushing up. And let's see how that plays out. I don't know why this is not moving. I have no idea what happened to this. I don't know. Anybody figured out what's the problem with this? I have no idea what's wrong with this. Anyways, Google, I'm pretty sure this thing had come back down alongside there. Came right back down into this number, and I'll look for another entry into Google. Couldn't trade this push up because I was in the Qs, triple Qs, and SPXL and T triple Q to the upside. So I couldn't trade Google, but I'll look for another push whenever that would happen. I'll look for another push into Google. Google looks decent here. Uh, Again, I think Google will have to 2591. So I think Google will have to come down into. Uh, so let's see Google push back into 20 above 2595. Again, I think Google will try pushing into 2625. So I'll look for Google be above 2596 or something like that. Then I'll look for a push into this number, the 8 on the daily. 2551. Yeah, this is again the base case to the downside. This should be the base case to the downside. And the base case to the upside would be around, the base case to the downside should be around 2550. The base case to the upside should be just about here. Not much from where it is, but that's how it should be. If the base case to the upside clears, then I think it should push into this 2625 number again. Uh, Wanted to trade Amazon as well, but again, did not get to trade. Base case would remain the same here. Let's pull up Amazon here. Yeah, I think the base case should remain around here, 3085 or something like that. And if it bounces here, I think we should go back into testing this 3262. So 3262. If the earnings, if tomorrow, I don't know what companies are reporting, but if the earnings sentiment, I mean, if Netflix remains to be an outlier, then looking for Amazon to hit 3262 tomorrow. If not, I think Amazon should push into 3080 and then push below there. That's how I want to see Amazon happening. Uh, and Anybody has the earnings calendar for tomorrow? That's a lot. Let's say ASML, Harvard, PNG. PNG should be a good one. Nasdaq should be a blowout. Baker Hughes. Baker Hughes should be a good one. Not, nothing that is Main Street Bank. Nothing that is standing out. Lithia, maybe, but Baker Hughes is one of the better ones, and this should be good. Nasdaq should have blowout earnings. because all of the given activity in Nasdaq, trading activity and whatnot, Nasdaq should have great earnings. 182 and probably 184.95, 190, 185. I think on any given good news, I think Nasdaq should touch 185 tomorrow, and most likely it will. Most likely it will. I think earnings will come in better than expected. It did here too. So expecting this. Look at that, clean earnings, clean. So there's no reason to expect this thing to not do good tomorrow. Earnings should come in good, and I think this stock should continue push higher into 185. If that clears, then push into 193, 190. Yeah, 190. This is pretty much likely. That's at least so the base case is 185 after earnings. To the downside, we'll cap at 175. This is the range that I want to play. 175 to 185. Looking pretty decent here. Monthly chart, well, every monthly chart is looking the same. We'll go by the daily chart, weekly chart. Yeah, it looks pretty decent to the upside. If it clears this number, the mean on the weekly, I think it will go into this number. 185, 186 is pretty much sitting there. So this is the path that I think it should take. 183.20. If that clears, then look for a push into 185. If that clears, look for a push into 187. This is how Nasdaq would go tomorrow. NDAQ, pretty decent earnings. Baker Hughes, wow. This is oil play, by the way. Uh, earnings should be decent. Earnings should be decent tomorrow morning. I think earnings will come out decent, and I think this will set the tone for major other major oil companies like CVX, XOM, and whatnot. If after earnings, if this thing pushes down, I think it will bring down the whole, or at least the larger ones, CVX as the XOMs, the fangs of the oil cohort. And this will bring them down. But I'm expecting good earnings from them. But even after good earnings, you can't tell what the stock's going to do. I think this will do good. I think Baker Hughes will do good. Uh, okay, let's see futures. Let's go back down to 1 hour chart right here. All right, so this was the scenario. We were clearly watching this number. Here it cleared. The futures cleared this number. This is where I got bullish, and finally Mr. Biden came up for a speak, and this was the result for that. And futures started to take a breather, but the markets took made a new high around I think towards the last hour, and futures were not there. Futures were giving a different direction, taking a doji and starting to come back down. And market took a breather after that, and it hit that and came right back down. So futures, I believe it needs to. They are testing this number right now. I believe futures will need to break this down, and I think futures will need to come back down to 44.20. This time the mean again. This thing has been acting as pretty decent support, and if the support breaks here, then it will come back in around this 44.20. Expecting the markets to open a bit low tomorrow, down about 20 to 30 points, probably whatever this number is, 44.21. And if it breaks below there in the overnight session, I think it will push down into 4409 to 4405. So let's round that up to 4400. Uh, and that would be a good thing, actually. If it comes down to 4400, that would be a good thing, so that we can look for a push from here in the morning, during the regular session. Overnight session, I think it's a very good thing. It would be a very healthy thing for futures to come back down into 4400. Not too far, just 36 points from where it is currently sitting. So, and the other thing is this guy, VIX. VIX came back with a vengeance towards the end of the day. Was not expecting that to happen, but it did happen. I was expecting a bounce around here. I think I posted that somewhere. I don't can't remember. Let's just see VIX if I can find it. Yeah, so there. I did post it right here. So I was looking for this number, VIX 2038 and SPX 4471. Both of that occurred. VIX bounced off of this 2038, and SPX stopped right here at 4471. So yeah, that was a good one. And exactly, VIX did what it was expected of, but I did not expect it to push that fast to the upside. But now I think VIX has enough ammo to push into this number. So based on this number, where are the futures? Right. So this will continue to come down, and this will continue to push up. And the big test will come around here, 2159, 2155 to 2160. The big test will come here. Most likely scenario is that it will clear that test. Of course, with a breather here, it will clear that test, and expecting it to push into this number right here. Right here should be a deciding factor, 2186 or 2190 should be some sort of a deciding factor, and and this should be a breather here again. And after that breather, it should push into 2206, and most likely a reject here, 2206. And the reason we were looking for a push here in VIX, where is that number? Nope, not here, not here. And VIX 2030, why was I looking for that number? Right here. Okay, there. That's the reason I was looking for VIX 2038. There. So that's the reason it came right back down to that 50 on the weekly. And so anytime we see this kind of setup with the 250, you can pretty much guarantee that one of the, it doesn't matter how weak the stock might be or whatnot. If you come across this setup on a higher time frame, especially a weekly or monthly, where it has both 250 close by, yeah, you can bet your bottom dollar that it's going to bounce at least one of those. 200 was pretty hard to cross for VIX today. It meandered around this area for quite a bit, but then Mr. Biden pushed it down. And I don't believe, uh, I don't believe the test of 2038 will happen tomorrow, maybe in the first hour or so. I don't believe that. Maybe later during the session, it might come back down into testing to 2070 and then probably 2038. Not really betting on that happening tomorrow, in the first session, at least, first half of the session. Later on in the session, might come back down to that level. For now, VIX doesn't seem to, very, VIX doesn't seem like it wants to do much. So I'm not betting on VIX, violently pushing up. So VIX, most likely VIX will probably push into this number around here, 2205 or whatnot. Uh, but the base case for VIX is 2158. Most likely it will happen right around opening and the overnight session itself. And then if it clears here and then a push into this number 2185, 2185 to 2190. If it clears here, it should get rejected right about here at the mean. Uh, for some reason, for whatever reason, if it clears the mean, and this should be it, 2236. So we are looking at a good 1 point on the fix with many, many, many struggles. Unless there is some sort of a news or something that comes across which changes that direction. But otherwise, VIX should start to push up, but not start to push up, but grind, slow grind up the 200, and then the major moving averages, the mean, and then the 50 should be it for VIX. And that's pretty much it from my end. Uh, and we will see how the futures open tomorrow, and what's the range for SPX tomorrow. We'll see during the morning charting session. Any other stocks that anybody is watching? All right, then let's wrap it up here, and we can pick it up again tomorrow.